everybody? We live down here in Pepper Park's Father's Day weekend. I'm Patrick from Take a Stand. Today I have my boy Frank D. Murphy. Frank D. Murphy, tell me a little bit about yourself, man, and how you enjoyed your weekend coming down here to South Florida.
Man, I had a great time, but I think what sparks me the most is the ProPops Foundation. You know, it takes a pro to do an event like this. It takes somebody who's been there, done that, been through some things. Dwayne Wade Jr., he's just that. He fits that name, ProPops. In order to be successful in your community, you have to have known your community, been there, experienced some things. And I had an awesome time. Everything I showed up at, I was very impressed.
So talk about your experiences with Mr. ProPops himself.
Well, I think Mr. ProPops himself, Dwayne Wade Sr., I think when I got to know him, you know, he was standoffish a little bit because he wanted to get to know who I was. And I was kind of the same way, and that's the way to be. I think you have to be patient when it comes to relationships. So as we started to build our relationship through patience, we began to talk about things and some of the similar things that we didn't like what we seen, what was going on in our community. We felt like our community was short of something. Wow. It was short of mentors. It was short of ProPops. That foundation. Right. And now we installed that foundation into this community here, and to see what he's doing. And then now he may come to Tampa. We may partner up and do some stuff in Tampa, Florida as well. Man, I'm excited. I'm ready to see what that's going to be like.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You have a foundation called Mentoring with a Purpose, correct?
Yeah, Mentoring with Purpose is what we try to do is build role models. You know, we want those athletes that don't know their purpose yet. We try to prevent their purpose from going to the graveyard. We want them to put definition behind their name and build them up to be who God called them to be. Awesome. And we don't want that purpose to go to the graveyard, because if that go to the graveyard, we just cheated our next generation. And I don't want to do that.
It's an honor to be here at the ProPops. It's an honor to meet your family and everyone attached to the ProPops Foundation. I received last year in 2016 the President Barack Obama Lifetime Achievement Award. And this year I received the charge to go out into the community, which is what the award is all about, and find individuals along with the ambassador, Dr. Lenore Peterson Macklin, to find some amazing individuals that are out in the community doing great things. And as sitting around talking, we know, Dwayne Wade Sr., that you have this ProPops Foundation and you're doing great things. But what happens is the same as me. The people that are actually out there doing the work are the people that get the least recognition. And so I wanted to make sure that the individuals that received this award were the ones that they're unsung heroes. They're out here in the world. The people in the community know that you're doing the work, but the world doesn't know that you're doing the work. So my job is to get out there and find people like you. You know, everybody knows that you are D. Wade Jr.'s dad. But what I wanted them to know is that there is a man that is right out here in the community touching the hearts of these kids and people all around. Because you know what, we don't always know that. We always see you, but we don't know the passion that you have to reach these kids. And when I found that out, you know what, you are from Chicago. Barack Obama started his tenure there, his community service right there in Chicago. And I knew that that would be special, and I knew our former president would be proud that you would have his name hanging on your wall. This is history in the making.
Well, it's an honor to be nominated, to be a recipient. I always give everything to my team because they support me the most, and without them, I couldn't have, got this award. But tell me something about you. I'm from Chicago. You from Gary, Indiana?
Yes, I am from Gary, Indiana, just right across the water. I started my career right down on Michigan Avenue. So Chicago, I still consider it my home. And my daughter is out there somewhere walking around. You know, we were Chicago Bulls fans all of our lives, right? And then we relocated here to South Florida. I am a certified life coach. I have Purpose Never Dies. That's my company, and it's a motivational company. It's a motivation and inspiration. And I coach people into their purpose. That's what I do. So one of the reasons why this was so close to my heart is because I talk to people about doing what they love doing. One of the things about Purpose Never Dies is the thing that you were born to do, called to do, aspired to do, desire to do. the thing that you were anointed and appointed to do. It's already in you. And so people that are out there living their dream, walking in their purpose, living in that calling, the thing that they were born to do, and knowing you, talking, watching, reading, I know that this is what you were planted on this earth to do. And so everybody that received that award, when they looked around, we had this ceremony yesterday, and we knew that when we planned it for this weekend that you already had ProPops, you wouldn't be able to make it. But let me tell you something. When we started to post and people began to read, and your daughter came up and so eloquently accepted that award, you know, everybody, I talked about all of the ProPops prior to even saying that you were Dwayne Wade's father, even though they knew that, because I didn't want them to miss the importance and the significance of what you're doing and your impact in this community. And so for me, this is what it's all about, finding those individuals like yourself. And let me say this, this is a humble man that I'm talking to, you know, and let's talk about that. We were on the phone talking about you receiving this award. It's one thing that you mentioned over and over and over. You kept saying, my team. I couldn't do this without my team. You just stated that, without my team. And that humility, that just touched my heart. But let me tell you something. In this world, there are leaders, and then there are people that are sent to follow, to help. Without you stepping forward to do what it is that you're doing, there will be no team.
My mirrors don't even get that far.
Oh, wow. Look at Wade.
I didn't even know
Wade
that.
Sr.
I didn't even know he had it.
We're sitting here preparing for an interview, and look, we just found out that you can sing. Oh my.
Cameo, Sparkle.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is here live with ProPops, Dwayne Wade. And the privilege for him to be here with me, and privilege for all of you to be here with me and to see me in person. Blah, blah, blah.
We're talking with Mr. Noel Bosch. Noel, your father. Tell us something about your father.
My father, Jack Bosch Sr., very fatherly, manly man. He had a hard work ethic. He worked long hours. He required a lot of me as far as following his instructions and doing what he told me to do. I had responsibilities, chores. He was a tough man, but I loved him. He was gentle with me, but yet stern, and I'd have to say he's my main role model. And I see a lot of his characteristics, especially his work ethic, in my oldest son, Chris.
Now, I noticed that you work hard all the time, and you pride yourself in work. Tell us, what kind of work do you do?
I'm a plumbing systems designer. I work for an engineering firm, and I design the plumbing systems that go into buildings, such as water, sanitary, gas, venting, and so on. And a lot of times I'll tell people, well, I'm a plumbing designer, and they'll ask me to come and fix their bathroom. But I'll have to tell them, no, I'm not a plumber, I'm a plumbing designer.
Wow, you work so hard so many days, and you're an NBA dad. Tell me, does being an NBA dad have an effect on your job?
Absolutely, because as you know, especially being here in Miami, both our sons played for the Heat. Everybody is into the Heat in Miami. And whenever I tell people my name, the first thing they ask me, are you related to Chris Bosch? And I'll say yes, that's my oldest son. So now we're talking about Chris Bosch and the Miami Heat. And the business that I was there for, or whatever, it gets put off. And I got to finish talking about the Heat in basketball before I can get on to the matter at hand.
Well, I think you've raised a great son, and Chris, we've all watched him on TV. We've all watched him play basketball at the highest level. That's an example of who you are. Tell us something about, what do you think about being a father to Chris?
I really enjoyed Chris and Joel, his brother, when they were little and growing up. watching them grow up, interacting with them, spending time with them. I really enjoyed being with them when they were small. One thing about being, a parent, spend all the time you can with your children because they grow up so fast. And you look back, where did that time go? And I look back and I told them once, I wish I could have spent more time with you because, I worked a lot, but, I had to provide for them. And Chris told me something that really made me feel good. He said, but you did spend a lot of time with us. And that made me feel real good.
Wow. We both grandfathers. We both have those grandkids that, are kind of special because they have dads that's special. Tell me, what do you do to make your grandkids understand that you're their grandfather?
I stop by and visit with them about once a month for about 45 minutes. Chris is not the same type parent, and his wife, they're not the same type parents that we were, that my parents were. Our parents were pretty tough, strong disciplinarians. Chris and his wife's parenting skills are somewhat different. And, I had to decide to let them be parents the way they're going to be parents and not be a problem, and just visit, say hello, and let them raise their children the way they see fit to raise them. That's the best way for me to keep a good relationship with them.
I've been working in the community all of my life, actually, doing prison ministry, youth ministry. I mentor a lot of women. I do so many things in the community that this purpose never dies is the thing that I have taken, and I actually go out and find people that are operating in their purpose. I help them to tell their stories, and sort of like what we're doing here. This is what I do. This is what I actually love doing. This is my passion, and I help people to find their purpose and their passion, and then, either monetize it or take it to the world. And this is what it's all about. Because there are so many, we all know that the graveyard is the richest place on earth. A lot of dreams, talents, visions, things that never came into fruition are buried. People die with what's in their heart. And so my job is to make sure that while people are here on this earth, that they walk in that purpose. They live their dreams, and they fulfill their purpose here on this earth. That's what it's all about.
Frank D. Murphy with a purpose. What does that mean to you, and define that to me?
Well, I think a lot of times people try to make their name great. Going into me understanding who I was, at first I was trying to make my name great. I was trying to say Frank D. Murphy, the NFL player. But I realized the NFL was just a piece of me. It wasn't all of me. And I began to realize it was more to me than just playing in the NFL. And I think a lot of youth and even grown men now, they think the NFL is all of them. And that's what I like to do. I like to go around and say the NFL is just a piece of you. How are you going to protect an NFL shield and you can't protect your own? Wow. So now I begin to know who I am, and I'm more than just an NFL player.
That's awesome.
I'm a father, I'm a mentor, I'm a life coach, I'm a role model, because somebody going to watch the role that you play and model behind it. Make sure it's worthwhile. Make sure it's something that they can model.
Hey, just like he said, he pretty much knows, how to present some of the different challenges in his community, and it's about taking back and providing a platform and a foundation that Frank has been doing for the last several years, and his involvement in this community has had tremendous impact.
It's Miller time. I prefer Heineken.
I enjoyed the fact that I am going in a different direction with basketball, taking young ladies on the road, meaning they play in different cities in front of college coaches, and it gives them a wider opportunity for a scholarship opportunity.
Great. Now, you going into being a sports management teacher and a PE teacher. How you feel about that?
That just gives me another opportunity to tap into the education side with young ladies and give them outlook on the background of sports. A lot of young ladies don't understand there's opportunities for careers in the industry of sports behind the scenes.
Right.
Not everybody can be a professional athlete, so this gives them an opportunity to see what the behind the scenes sports looks like as far as analysts, marketing, journalism. There's a lot of things that they can do in that industry to promote athletics besides becoming a professional athlete.
Well, you know what? When I was alongside of you, you was an awesome coach, a great coach. I found myself many a time sitting back just watching you and learning from you. You know, after all those years I've been on the floor by myself coaching, and to be alongside of you and watch you coach, it was amazing, and I think I learned a lot from that. So this weekend, ProPops Father's Day weekend, I know you've been a part of it for a few years. Tell us something about how you feel about what we're doing in the community.
I feel like it's huge when you can give back to the community and young people can look at you and you're not asking them for a dime. You're just bringing the community together in a positive way, doing positive things, whether it's through sports, the media, any way that you can connect with them is something that's going to benefit them in their future.